My name is Mariana Consolos, and I'm the first lady with the accent. I'm not sure why that. And I own Princess Florence Handbags. It's an accessory store, no sizes. And we do pop up stores all over the city, and now we also do all over the province. And 3 years ago, we opened our store location here in Edmonton as a warehouse, and it turned into a busy, busy store right now.
So tell me about how you started, because even before this store, when I first met you, you were selling out of your house, and there's a bit that went before that. How did you get into this business altogether?
So I was a newcomer from South America, and I was at a dance competition. My daughter was. I was wearing a scarf, beautiful scarf, that my mother gave me, and a lady approached me, asked me where did I get that scarf, and I told her that it was from South America. She looked very disappointed because she really wanted the scarf, and basically she offered me $80 to buy that scarf. So guess what I did? I took it out of my neck and I sold it.
And then what happened?
And then I tried to find those scarves. I couldn't. I look up everywhere. I went everywhere and I couldn't find nothing even similar. So I decided to start to make them. So I went, I bought fabric, I bought yarn. The scarves are very similar to these ones. You see that they are kind of embroidered. So I bought it the fabric, I bought it the yarn, and I started to make them. So I will go to little university senior places with my little trunk, and I'll have the pieces of cloth, the fabric, and then all my yarns. And people will pick and choose, and the next day I will come with a custom made scarf for $20. So
Whoa!
people love it, and I couldn't believe, I started to get more and more orders. That Christmas I was sewing day and night, and I did over 200 scarves.
Wow. Okay, so ultimately you couldn't keep up with the demand, and so you basically have a choice. You can raise your price or change how you're getting your supplies. So,
Well, basically what I started to realize is that people were looking for any accessory that I will put on myself. And it was a purse, and it was a necklace, or it was something I put on my head. So when I went to South America, I decided to bring some with myself, which my husband thought that I was totally crazy. And I was working at a retail store at that point, and they allowed me to put it in the lunchroom, and by after the lunch, all my goods were gone.
wow.
So I thought, okay, I have something here. So I started to bring things from South America, mainly Argentina and Uruguay. And then after, my husband is Turkish, so we went to Istanbul. We were walking on the streets, and I saw this beautiful jewelry that I fall in love, and I said, let's go and ask if they sell wholesale. He thought that I'm crazy, totally. He's like, what are you gonna ask? And guess what? Half an hour later, we were having lunch with these people, and I was buying wholesale, and that became kind of my signature collection. So
Wow.
yes.
And so, okay, so you started selling this stuff. You'd go to places and sell there. And I know when I met you, you were also selling a little bit out of your home. And then that kind of grew and grew. What happened then?
So it was really something that I never imagined that will happen, because it was totally out of my plans. I tried to do something to be busy, and that was all what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for like the super business to make money. I just wanted, I don't forget, I was a newcomer. I was trying to meet new people, get out of my house, and get into the society to try to understand. So when I started to go, the first place were senior places, and that was a great starting point for me because it wasn't too demanding. I could manage the hours, and I could manage what I will bring. I learned what the seniors were looking for. So for example, they were looking for necklaces that they don't need to do them. So I brought long necklaces that you just put over your head, and that was easy for them. So I learned my clientele. These ladies never had their ears pierced. So I got clip-on earrings.
Right.
So that got me to learn about this clientele, and it was super amazing because they will wait for me, and I needed that, hug and people who care for me. And I was also doing the same for them because, I was coming once a month and they were waiting for me. You should see these beautiful ladies with the walkers standing at the door and saying, "Can I help you? I'm having these boxes that they cannot even lift." But, I will say, "Yes, you know what? Why don't you prepare me a coffee?" And they will be the happiest ladies in the world because some of those ladies don't have nobody to visit them. So it was a really great time for me, and it was really a great way to learn about Canada because they will sit with me and tell me the stories about they came to this country and they started. So it was really, really beautiful and necessary. And after that, the people who work there, the staff will tell me, "Oh, you need to try this place. Oh, you need to try this hospital." So that's how we got into the hospitals. We didn't know anything about it. And I started to go to the hospitals, and from the hospitals, they invited me to conventions, and the conventions people invited me to their houses. So it rolled into something that I didn't even, what to do. And one of the funniest stories, and better than anybody, a lady phoned me one day and she asked me to become a consultant. So I said, "Oh, you know what? I'm on the other line. Let me write down your name. I'll call you back." So I hung up. I phoned Tema and I said, "Tema, what does it mean a consultant?" So Tema said, "You really need to come and have a chat with me, and we need to talk about this because you have something here." So we got to the point that we did have 50 consultants, and it was great. It was amazing. But, those are the kind of things that you learn. I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't build a business to be multi-level, so I couldn't supply these ladies with the guidance or the tutoring that they needed. So we needed to let that part go and continue in our retail, which was more what I do the best because it's more personal and people come to see me or come to see what I brought new from my new travels and things like that.
So, what do you attribute the success of this to?
Well, I think it was a mixture of things. I think the right price was very important.
And how do you determine your pricing?
Well, my price is what I can afford as a newcomer. So
Okay.
I thought if any newcomer like me can afford that, I came to Canada and I was trying to find accessories. Either they were cheapy stuff that I didn't like, or either they were like the beautiful stuff that I would love that it was high end that I couldn't afford. So I couldn't find something in between. And I think that I did fill that gap. And I think that is what it was so attractive because finally they can get nice accessories that it will make the outfit look better and make people feel much better about themselves at reasonable price. So I think that was key in this combination. I think the other part is like bringing stuff from other places, from overseas. It's like in some way people is traveling with me because I share that on my Facebook pictures, and people, if I go to Turkey, they will see what I'm eating or where I'm going. And I think that's also part of it because people share. And another important thing here in the store, I think, is sharing stories. And here people come and they open up and we can talk. And, it's about like if your kids are going away or if you're going through a treatment and you need some color, colorful place, people find my store very healing. And I hear that very, very often. So it's beautiful, if you
So
can.
true retail therapy.
True retail therapy. And we say it's the best customer service because it's super personalized and you will get the full attention. You can bring your outfit. We will do kind of even the work of a fashion consultant because we will give you advice on what to wear, what not to wear. You bring your outfit, we will try to match the things to different outfits. So it's really a place where you can feel taken care.
So how come you're able to do this and so many retail stores don't seem to be able to? Or is it they just don't try? Or what is it that's different? Because you don't get that when you go into even other small retailers usually.
Well, I'm not really sure. I think that might be my South American background. The South American is like very open, very welcoming. We welcome everybody with a hug, which some people get surprised, but they like it. The colors are very like inviting and it's very cheerful. it's a place that something is going on all the time because you get the new stock and we come and share with the customer, look what we just received, let's try it this way. So it's a playground, really.
And actually, that's as a customer, that's part of what I found really appealing is you are so enthusiastic when new stuff comes in. You get that sense. It's like you're having fun, so of course we have fun.
And I really think that that's what the people get, and it's genuine. We're not faking it. If I don't like something, I will say, oh, that's ugly, oh no. And and if I see you're trying something and I don't think it suits you, I will come and tell you, you know what.
That's so great.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it's important. And as any other business, I truly believe, and I always say the same, trust. When people trust you, you gain your customer. If I tell my customer, wear this or don't wear that, and they go to an evening event and they are smashing and everybody's commenting on that, now they trust me. They know that my advice was a right advice. So they will want to come and they want to tell everybody about this little treasure store that it's hiding, in this little place in Edmonton. And that's what we get more and more. We are like, we started with no staff in the store. Now we are at 2 staff, and we feel the need of having at least 3 or 4, because the people is bringing their friends and they're more and more excited to share the secret. It's kind of a secret place. They call it the candy store for women. So
And the staff, so that's sort of the front end staff, and then you've also got people who help in the back end warehouse type
yes,
stuff.
yes, the back end is our warehouse, and that is, when we prepare the shows, we are at this moment going to almost every day to 3 shows. So we need to prepare these pop-up stores that I don't know if you ever saw them, but they are like full stores with lights and everything. So we can have in an hour a full store with over, I would say, 1,000 items for sale.
Wow.
And what is so exciting for the people is that we bring the store to them, to their comfort, and they can purchase on the spot. They don't need to order. There is no waiting time. They feel, touch, get it.
Now, that said, you are looking at setting up a proper website and doing some e-commerce. Tell me a bit about that.
So we are doing that because we find that as we expand in the province, we are going, let's say, to Fort McMurray, we're going to like Lethbridge, other places. Once we go there and they know us and they know the product, they want to keep buying. And we weren't serving them properly. We didn't have an actual website. The pictures didn't do any justice to the product. They will recommend a friend, and the friend will think, where do they send me? It's not like. So we think they deserve a better way to shop, and I think it will help us for repeat customers. Basically, it's not that maybe we are wrong, and it's like opening a new door to the world, and maybe that will bring us lots of more sales. But I think it's in this first stage, it's basically trying to, serve our actual customers, the ones that already have seen our product. So
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. And I can certainly see, even within the city, people like me who have seen the stuff, loved it, bought some, and then when I pick up a gift for somebody, I already have a good idea of what the product is. I would be happy to just order it online and have you ship it to someone.
yes, and I think that is what we are trying to serve now. And I think that, honestly, we couldn't do it because we were so busy expanding as a response of what was happening that we couldn't even take care of the website. So, we made this extra effort. I say that I have 2 jobs right now, one day job and one night job. My night job is trying to set up this website, but I think it's going to be worth it because we got beautiful pictures taking, and, I think it's going to make a huge difference.
Mariana, tell me, what is the most challenging thing that you've had to do as part of building this business?
The big challenge was to believe that I can be myself. Being a newcomer, you are challenged with a new culture, a new language, a new lifestyle. So it was hard to be who I was in my home country. And it took me a while to understand that even if I have an accent, I can succeed. And even if I don't know all the rules here, I can go by my gut feelings, because that's another thing that I learned through the years. If you have those gut feelings, they come from some knowledge that you might have somewhere buried down there. So I think that once I really let it go and I didn't want to try to be somebody that I wasn't, it's when things started to roll and started to be good. And I tell you, one of the biggest fears was answering the phone. And I was working in a store, and a lady phone, and she will complain that I don't get your accent. Can you pass me with a manager? And you feel like an idiot, really. You have a
Mm-hmm.
hard time. And I was blessed to be at a program at Northwest College, and I had a teacher there. And my teacher said to me, I found her almost crying and saying, I'm going to quit because I cannot answer the phones. She said, no, you need to run to that phone and answer, because you cannot have a store, you cannot run a business in Canada if you're not answering the phones. So get out of your comfort zone and go and answer those calls. And it was really an eye opener that every time you get something that is uncomfortable, it means that it's learning there,
Mm-hmm.
and there is where you need to stick.
That is a very important lesson for a lot of people, myself included. um, that's great. Um, and I was thinking too, one of the other comments that you've made in the past in terms of one of the advantages in a way of being the newcomer is you said that sometimes naivety can actually help you. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, that is quite funny, because I always say I went to places that most of Canadians won't go. I was at I think it was one of the senior places, and a lady said, "Oh, there is a trade show in Fort McMurray," and I said, "Oh, that's awesome! So tell me about it." And so I phoned and I booked it and I paid and everything, and then I phoned my husband and I said, "You know what? I booked a show in Fort McMurray," and he's like, "Where? Do you know that that's 5 hours from here?" And that's it. We went, and it was freezing cold. It was winter, and actually, I think I never told you this. We got ripped off because that guy never did that show.
Oh no.
Yes, he took our money, and but you know what? I found the hospital, and I said, "Here I am. Can I come and do my showing?" And they did allow me.
Wow.
So, I turned a bad experience into a good experience. And we started to go to the Fort Mac Hospital, and we go there every year, at least 3, 4 times. And honestly, it's a great clientele that follow us for like now 8 years.
Wow.
So that was one of my best stories. Another amazing story is the one that somebody phoned me, and they're having this event for women, and they invited me, and they told me that it's in an office here in Edmonton, and they give me the address, and they tell me this and that, and I phoned my husband, and I'm so excited. We got invited to a building to talk to these ladies and sell to these ladies. So he asked me, what is the building? And I said, it's the parole office. He's like, what? Do you know where you're going? And I'm like, no. For me, it was an office. And yes, and we sold tans there to the guards and also to the inmates.
That's funny.
So yes, it was an amazing experience. And you know what? I couldn't believe. But I'm sure that most of the Canadians, if they would ask, would you go to the parole office? I'm not sure how many will go.
Mm-hmm.
So I think being naive, and I'm not sure if I knew really if I would go. I think it's being naive or being like not knowing, you're more open. And that's another thing. I don't say no. I just go. And even if it's a small event, sometimes, you go to places that you will not make money, but you meet the right person. And that's it. That's my marketing money. That's
Mm.
where I spend my money on advertisement. And honestly, this business is built with zero budget on marketing. And I think we're doing pretty good.
Oh, yes. Do you have any advice that you would offer to aspiring entrepreneurs?
Well, I would say if you have a passion, follow it. Be curious, because curiosity is what it gets you into new things.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid. And if you're afraid, you're normal, but keep going. And ask. There are lots of entrepreneurs like me and like many others that I know that they will be so happy to share ideas with you and share advice with you. And I found that not many people will take my offer when I offer, listen, if you have any questions, if you have anything, I hardly get anybody phoning me and asking.
That amazes me. That really does. But I guess you're right. A lot of people are just too intimidated to ask.
I think so. And you know what? I can be one of them sometimes. I remember, that I was struggling with staffing and all that. And, I talked to you about it. And you asked me, who do you think is doing well? And I said, look at, the owner of the Italian Center. And I thought, she's doing great. So you said, why don't we call her? And, that started a whole new, you know, meeting and event that we organized together, that it was such a success that everybody's asking when is the next one. So it was great to hear Teresa talking about it honestly, like she's struggling with the same things. And sometimes sharing gives you the light that you're not, like, you don't know if you need to follow your guts. And then hearing another expert person that she's dealing with the same, it gives you that strength that, okay, I'm in the right path, I should continue. So go and ask, because the people is willing to talk. But sometimes we think that we are too small for them, or and it's never too small or too big when you meet the right person that is willing to help.
I think one of the other things that has impressed me about you is your contributions to your community, that you have been so open to supporting charitable causes. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I found that since I came to Canada, and that was a full new experience for me, all these charities and everything, that it's so much solidarity going around. And I found that the community gave me so much, because the people were so supportive of me since day one when I started. And being a newcomer and going to Norquest, where you get that, like, hugging welcome, and they don't teach you only English, they teach you skills for life, and they'll teach you how to get around the city, and they teach you so many things. I felt that when I was ready, when I was having a successful business, or at least rolling my business, I needed to give back. And I found that it's so rewarding, because it's really a win-win-win, super win situation. We are helping charities, and charities that they are unbelievable, the things they're doing, and in the same talk they are helping us to promote our business. So it's been an amazing experience. We are learning from the people who come and ask.
So the way that works is then somebody will approach you and say, I'd like to do a fundraiser or something for this charity, and you donate a certain proportion of the sales from that
Exactly.
event or from that day to the
Yes,
charity.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And we do any charity, every charity, it's not my charity, it's the charity that people believe. And we will support them, because it's a good cause for them, so it's a good cause.
Good point.
Yes.
Any final thoughts? Anything I should have asked you and haven't?
Well, I think that the other thing that we are doing, and it's very important, is we're having a space in the store that it's open to events, and it's open to any kind of event. So, for example, we find that lots of people wanted to have the party, but they didn't want to prepare their house, or they didn't have the time to prepare the house. So what we do is we offer the space at no charge, and they can bring their goods and bring their friends, and they even get 10% of the sales of that evening. So that is a great way to gather with friends. We have, like, here, clubs like painting club, or the golfing club, and they decided that they, instead of going out for lunch, they will go for lunch and then after come to Princess Florence. And they will present me a theme. For example, they will say, oh, there is this group that we will want to go on a cruise, how to pack light. So I will do a presentation on how to pack light. Or there are these ladies and they say, we have beautiful scarves, but we don't know what to do with them. So I said, okay, bring your scarves and I'll teach you what to do with them. And we have this clip that is super cute, and we will teach them how to do that, because it's easy to make the scarf show off more.
And that's another way that you're using internet technology too. You've got a video online that demonstrates some of the ways
Yes,
to do clips.
yes.
So in terms of the internet, you've got YouTube, you use Facebook very heavily.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you do in terms of marketing communication strategies that you use?
Well, I have my constant contact marketing,
So
and
any newsletter.
yes, it's not a newsletter. I shouldn't say that because, you know, there are lots of discussion about how many times a month or how many times you should send. I really don't follow any rule. I just follow my own rule. I just send whenever it's something important to say, and people is willing to open my emails. You know, I get a super high rate of openings because they know I won't blast them with sales and promotions and this and that. They get an email if I'm, for example, organizing a campaign like we did for one of the workers that she got her family here, and we were looking for furniture for her house. So we sent that email, and in less than 48 hours, we had a full furnished house for Alice.
Wow.
So that was an amazing wake up call for me to realize how nice and beautiful community I have built through the years. And I know that, for example, when my daughter was having back surgery, I got the support of these ladies like you wouldn't believe. And if I send something that we are raising money for something, I get the people with me. So that is why I found that it's my own way. I don't follow any rules. I just send when it's necessary to send or when it's something important to communicate.
Well, and you've managed to form such a strong bond with your customers that there is a tremendous loyalty that I think goes both ways.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah.
And I think that is key. I know their stories, I know their names, I know their kids, I know their. And honestly, I have customers that they follow me from my basement.
I'm one of them.
And you should see how many that I didn't even realize that they are still following. So that is, I love it.